You're the lead detective in the roller coaster murder case. The phone call. When a theme park turns into a crime scene, your phone explodes at 6:12 a.m. Not a normal call, not a drunk driver, not a domestic dispute, a roller coaster. 3 dead. You're still halfway through your first coffee when dispatch drops the location. A massive amusement park just outside the city. The kind with screaming kids, overpriced funnel cake, policies. Except today the screaming isn't fun. It's panic. You roll through the gates and the place looks like a stock market crash in human form. Paramedics sprinting, parents crying, yellow tape everywhere, and towering over all of it is the ride. The Titan, a steel monster twisting into the sky like a middle finger to gravity at the base of the final loop. There's a train car frozen halfway on the track. Inside are 2 bodies and 1 empty seat. That's when the park manager rushes over, sweating like he just ran a marathon. Detective, we think someone sabotaged the ride. Congratulations. Your Monday just turned into a murder investigation at 120 miles per hour. You climb the maintenance ladder with the engineers. Every step higher makes the scene uglier. The bodies are still strapped into the front row. Both adults. Both dead before the train even stopped moving. But the weird part, the 3rd victim is gone. Not ejected, not thrown from the ride, just missing. You crouch near the control assembly where the train stalled. The engineers are whispering behind you. This shouldn't happen. Roller coasters are basically flying spreadsheets. Every bolt, every brake, every sensor audited like a Fortune 500 balance sheet. Systems like this don't just fail. Failure means lawsuits, and lawsuits mean bankruptcy. Yet here you are, 3 people dead, and the ride's computer log says something impossible. Manual override. Someone forced a train to accelerate into the final braking zone, which means the ride didn't malfunction. Someone turned it into a weapon. The missing passenger, a ghost in seat 3. You start reviewing the ride camera footage. Thousands of riders pass through the line every hour, but one group stands out. 3 people in the front row. 2 tourists, 1 man sitting between them. 30 seconds later the train launches. Then the brakes fail. Then the chaos begins. But when the train returns to the station, seat 3 is empty. Your partner rewinds the footage 5 times. No one jumps. No one falls. He just disappears. Now, the math gets interesting. The 2 dead riders are strangers. No connection. Different countries. Different travel groups. Totally random. But seat 3. Seat 3 doesn't exist in any ticket database. No entry, no name, no payment. It's like someone inserted a ghost into the ride. Manifest. And ghosts don't commit sabotage. Humans do. Corporate panic. The billion-dollar damage control machine. The park executives drag you into a private conference room. You can practically smell the legal team hiding behind the walls. The CEO starts talking like a man trying to negotiate with a hurricane. Detective, we run the safest park in the country. You nod. Every corporation says that 5 minutes before the lawsuits begin. He slides a tablet across the table. Financial projections, insurance exposure, media response plans. In corporate terms, 3 deaths isn't a tragedy. It's a liability event. The park loses billions if the ride is proven unsafe. But if it's sabotage, different story. Then it's terrorism, and suddenly, the company becomes the victim instead of the defendant. The CEO leans forward. Find the saboteur. Translation. Save the brand. Because right now, Titan isn't just a roller coaster. It's a PR bomb waiting to detonate. The maintenance logs, where the lie begins. You spend the afternoon in the control room with the engineers. Every ride system logs data like a black box, and when you pull the overnight maintenance logs, something jumps out. A technician accessed the brake control system at 2:47 a.m. But here's the catch. The technician listed in the system died 6 months ago. Your partner stares at the screen. Someone's using a dead employee's credentials. Exactly. which means whoever did this knows the park's infrastructure inside out. This isn't a random killer. This is an insider, someone who understands both roller coasters and murder. You pull the security footage from the maintenance corridor at 2:46 a.m. A figure walks into the brake control room, hood up, face hidden, but the walk, it's confident, like someone walking into their own office. Not sneaking, not rushing, just clocking in. He's inside for exactly 4 minutes, then he leaves, and in those 4 minutes, he rewrites the ride's braking algorithm, turns the final slowdown sequence into a high-speed collision, a perfect mechanical kill. Box. Your partner zooms in on one frame as the figure passes under a light. For half a second you see the face, and the room goes quiet, because the man in the footage is sitting in the lobby right now, waiting to talk to you. The man introduces himself, calmly. Lead designer of Titan, the guy who literally built the ride, which makes the situation awkward, because you're now looking at the only human on Earth who knows this machine well enough to weaponize it. He folds his hands on the table. I was wondering when you'd figure it out. No panic, no denial, just acceptance. You ask the obvious question, why? He leans back like a professor explaining a lecture, because the park cut corners. He starts listing numbers, maintenance budgets, slashed. Inspection cycles shortened, cheap replacement parts installed, all hidden behind corporate PR. The ride was slowly becoming a death trap, and management ignored every warning. So you killed 3 people to prove your point. He shakes his head. No. Then he drops the real bomb. I only planned for one. The twist. The target was seat 3. He pulls out his phone and shows you a photo. A man in an expensive suit. The park's chief operations officer. The executive who kept rejecting safety upgrades. The guy responsible for every cost-cutting decision. He rides the front seat every morning before opening. The engineer says, corporate photo ops. Today was supposed to be the same. Seat 3. Right between 2 employees. The perfect symbolic demonstration. A corporate executive killed by his own cost-cutting. But this morning something changed. The executive canceled. The seat got filled by a random tourist. And now 2 innocent people are dead. The engineer stares at the table. Cost of doing business, I guess. The downfall, when the system eats its creator. The park erupts into chaos once the confession hits the media. The engineer gets arrested. The executives start denying everything. Lawyers swarm the place like sharks smelling blood. But the real twist, the safety audit begins. And suddenly the investigators find everything the engineer warned about. Faulty brakes, ignored reports, maintenance, shortcuts. The park didn't just have a saboteur, it had a culture problem. Within 6 months the company collapses under lawsuits. Titan is dismantled, piece by piece, and the empty steel skeleton stands in the park, like a monument to corporate arrogance. You drive past it one last time, the biggest irony of the whole case. The engineer wanted to prove the ride was dangerous. He succeeded, just not in the way he planned. That wraps it up for today. This story is a work of fiction, but the power dynamics it explores are very real. If this case made you think, drop a comment below with what you believe the detective should have done, and hit subscribe so you don't miss the next story.